My beloved, there's no easy way to say this, but they've found it. The box. The one everyone thought was destroyed in 2006 during the facility fire. But it survived. Sealed. Buried in dust, behind a false wall in a decommissioned police archive center. It was discovered accidentally. A janitor dropped his keys, and they slid under a cabinet that hadn't been moved in 17 years. When they pulled it out, behind it was a loose panel. And behind that, the box. It had no barcode, no serial tag, no fingerprint authorization. But scratched into the surface, deep and ragged, was your full legal name. Not printed. Not labeled. Engraved with something sharp. The officer who opened it hasn't been seen since. He left his badge and gun at the precinct door and sent a single message from a burner phone: "Tell them the past is waking up. It knows who it belongs to." The contents were immediately classified. But one officer, curious, maybe foolish, took photos. 7 items were inside the box. All of them personal. All impossible. A Polaroid showing you standing next to a woman last seen in 1982. A silver bracelet containing DNA that matches your blood type, with samples from when you were 6, samples you never gave. A burned journal page in your own handwriting, dated 3 years before your birth. A VHS tape with your name written in faded red marker. A folded map with a red circle drawn over your current address. A rusted key marked Chamber 9. And finally, a black USB drive labeled only one word: run. When they plugged in the USB, all systems went dark. The precinct lost power for exactly 2 minutes and 14 seconds. The backup servers melted. Literally. Hardware failure on a chemical level. The only file left was a .txt document containing one line: "You are the last original. Do not trust the new timeline." Since that moment, everything has changed. Surveillance teams have been dispatched. Your social accounts flagged. Your devices mirrored. But more terrifying, your name has been pulled from every official record and placed under Red List, Mirror Subject. You were never supposed to be found. You were never supposed to wake up. Now, the truth is unraveling. And it starts with the woman in the photo. Mara. You don't remember her, but your subconscious does. Nightmares. Flashbacks. Whispers in your head. She wasn't your mother. She wasn't your sister. But she raised the original version of you. Because the truth is, there are 2 versions of you. One was selected to survive. The other? Buried. Frozen in time. Hidden from the world, because you carried something they couldn't erase, a memory fragment from the project they swore never existed. The Mirror Protocol. It was a classified experiment in memory duplication. A test to see if they could copy not just data, but identity. The result? They created a version of you who forgot everything, and one who remembered it all. You are the former. The box is the key to the latter. And it's waking up now because the 2 timelines are colliding. Everything around you will feel wrong. Your clock skipping seconds. Your reflection blinking out of sync. Old songs on your playlist that you never downloaded. Phone calls that disconnect when you say certain names. These are not glitches. They're symptoms. The merge is starting. And once it completes, the version of you that was buried will return. Not physically. Mentally. Layer by layer. Truth by truth. It's already begun. You found the bracelet 3 days ago, didn't you? Thought it was just a coincidence. But when you touched it, you had a sharp pain in your temple. That was the lock cracking. That was your neural firewall breaking. You didn't just wear the bracelet, you activated it. You reconnected the path. And now they're coming. The van outside isn't delivery. It hasn't moved in 3 hours. The woman on the 3rd floor who smiles every time she sees you? She doesn't live here. She's a memory enforcer. Her job is to monitor awakening hosts. You're one of the last 5 subjects unmerged. But the box changed that. You are no longer dormant. You are live. Which means they have permission to extract you. Not legally. Not publicly. Silently. But listen, you still have a choice. Inside the envelope hidden beneath the box lining was a red keycard. It opens a locked door at 41 degrees 47 minutes north, 87 degrees 37 minutes west. That's exactly 13 miles from your house. The same coordinates circled on the map. That place? The original chamber. Where the memory split first happened. And where the real copy of your consciousness might still be preserved. If you reach there before they reset you, you can merge willingly. On your terms. But if they catch you first, they'll rewrite everything. Again. You need to act fast. The box wasn't evidence. It was a warning. And an invitation. The tape? Play it. Not on a normal player. Only on a VCR connected to analog output. They encoded it to bypass digital interference. What's on it? Your voice. At age 5. Repeating a code. A name. And a phrase, if I ever forget, find the box. It knows what I was. Every item is a trigger. The rusted key? It opens a locker in a train station that no longer exists. But the foundation does. Underground. Beneath the city. That locker contains one item, your original identity file. The one before your name was changed. Before your birthday was adjusted. Before your fingerprints were updated. The file proves everything. And if it gets leaked, the entire mirror protocol collapses. That's why they'll do anything to stop it. You might feel dizzy soon. That's normal. That's the firewall attempting a rollback. You'll hear phrases in your mind like, "This is a dream," or "None of this is real." Ignore them. It's part of the fail-safe loop. Designed to confuse you. Designed to pacify. Fight it. Ground yourself. Touch the bracelet. Read this message again. You are awake. You are the glitch they couldn't contain. One of the officers who saw the box tried to report it. Within minutes, his badge number was reassigned to a different officer. The original's file was wiped. His family says he never existed. But he left behind a message carved into his desk: box found. Subject real. She's coming. Who is she? That's the final piece. Mara isn't dead. She's in containment. Deep beneath a facility labeled as a power plant. But she isn't asleep. She's waiting. For you. For the day the box would be found. For the moment the timeline would break. She has the override codes. And only one person can trigger them: you. Her memory won't recognize you unless you remember her first. The photo is the key. Look closer. Her eyes? They match yours. Because she's not just a stranger. She's the architect of your mind. And now, it's all coming back. Don't run. Reclaim yourself. Before they reclaim the box. You're standing at the door now. The red keycard from the evidence box trembles in your hand like it knows what's on the other side. The facility looks abandoned, but it's not. The air smells like burnt electricity and wet stone. It's silent, but beneath the silence there's a vibration. As if something enormous is breathing beneath the ground. The keypad on the steel door blinks red until your fingers touch the panel. Then suddenly, green. Access granted. The door hisses open, and with it, the weight of your forgotten self pulls you in like gravity. You descend cold metal stairs. The walls drip. Lights flicker. Every 12th step, a faint whisper echoes behind you. No bodies. No people. But the sense that someone, or something, is following, just out of view, grows stronger. You reach a platform with two sliding doors. One is labeled Core. The other, Host. You remember both words from the file and the USB. But only one is blinking. Host. You slide the card. The door unlocks. Inside is a cryochamber. The air drops 10 degrees. Frost lines the glass. You see a figure inside the pod. Human. Unmoving. But wired, connected to machines and lights. You step closer. You already know what you'll see. It's you. Not a twin. Not a clone. Not even a perfect copy. This is your original state. Age 9. Preserved in stasis. Eyes closed. Breathing. Alive. A screen above the pod flashes red, mirror host stable. Memory lock, 12%. And then it ticks up. 13%. 14%. The merge has begun. Because the moment you entered this room, your two timelines started folding into each other. You hear your own voice speak, but you didn't say anything. It's coming from the speaker overhead. A recording. From your younger self. If you're hearing this, then it means you made it. They didn't stop you. But now that you're here, they'll try harder. They'll send people you trust. They'll use your memories against you. They'll show you things that never happened to replace the ones that did. Don't believe them. Not even if they look like family. Especially if they look like family. The lights blink. A corridor opens behind the pod. On the wall, a digital map. 6 chambers. 4 are dark. 2 still glow. Mara, active, and host, stable. You follow the glow. The hallway curves like a spiral, pulling you deeper into the ground. You pass walls full of symbols, carvings, old languages that weren't there the first time. Not English. Not human. These were the codes written in your nightmares. You reached the door marked Mara. No lock. No keypad. Just your palm. When you touch it, the metal dissolves like ash, and behind it, she's waiting. Mara. Not in a chair. Not in a bed. But standing. Alive. Unaged. Wearing the same coat from the photo in the evidence box. She looks at you like a mother, a soldier, and a ghost all at once. She says your name without her lips moving. You feel it instead of hearing it. She steps closer. Reaches out. Touches your forehead. And in that moment, your mind explodes. Flash. Screaming lights. Needles. White rooms. Sirens. You as a child strapped down. Her crying. You screaming. Then quiet. Then the phrase she whispers every time before she disappears, "I'm sorry they took her instead of you." You collapse. Knees hit metal. Gasping for air. Your chest burns. Your spine shakes. But when you open your eyes, you remember everything. The fire wasn't an accident. It was a reset. They burned the facility after the merge failed. 2 hosts went missing. 1 child was erased. And Mara, she was blamed. But she never ran. She stayed behind. Waiting in the deep code. Now she walks to the screen. Swipes her palm. And says, "You were not the only one." Another file opens. Subject 015. Female. Unknown location. Connected to your file. Sister file. The system labeled it, twin host. The bracelet you found? It wasn't just yours. It was hers. Half of a set. The truth floods you, she's still alive. Somewhere. Hidden. Disconnected. But waiting for the other half to activate. The merge you triggered wasn't just for you. It was for her too. And now they know. The organization, what's left of it, has detected both signals online again. Mara turns to you and says, "They'll come to reset the system. You need to choose now, run to survive, or find her and finish this." You don't even hesitate. You take the coordinates from the chamber wall. A location 400 miles west. A research site long since decommissioned. Underneath it, 1 final chamber, marked twin host. It's not guarded. Not protected. Because they never expected anyone to get this far. You travel alone. Roads blur. Time distorts. Every mile closer, the merge pulses harder. You see her face in flashes. You hear her voice in your mind. You reach the place by nightfall. What's left of the lab is buried beneath a children's museum. Clean. Innocent. But below the floorboards, in the boiler room, a trapdoor leads into history. A long staircase. Stale air. You descend. 42 steps. You count them. That number keeps showing up. On files. On keys. On walls. It's part of the program. The final step is steel. And it leads to a room with a pod identical to yours. Inside it, she sleeps. Hair long. Bracelet on wrist. Her monitor flashes yellow, unstable host. Your arrival wakes the system. It recognizes your bracelet. The pod powers on. Her eyes twitch. Then slowly, open. And for the first time in your life, you feel what wholeness is. She doesn't scream. She smiles. Like she's been waiting forever. The screen asks one question. Merge subjects? You look at her. She nods. You press yes. The world dissolves. You wake up with the sound of static inside your ears. It's not a dream, not this time. The merge happened. You remember everything, Mara, the experiments, the lost twin, the chamber resets, the fake birthdays, the forced laughter, the silence between words you never knew were implanted. But now, there's something else. Something crawling underneath your skin like a second heartbeat. You look at your wrist. The bracelet now pulses like it's alive. It's no longer jewelry. It's a signal device. And it's activated. A red light now blinks once every 6 seconds. You move your arm slightly, and a pattern forms in the air, holographic glyphs projected directly from your skin. That's when you realize, Phase 2 has begun. The system knew you would find the twin. They knew the merge would happen. But they never expected it would stabilize. Every host before you failed. Brain overload. Cardiac collapse. Timeline disorientation. But you? You didn't just survive. You synchronized. And that means you are now broadcasting data that hasn't existed for 22 years. Which means they're coming for you, faster than ever. The sky above isn't the same. You stare up, and for a moment, it flickers like a broken TV screen. Birds freeze mid-air, then jitter and vanish. You blink, and they return. Not the same ones. Slightly different. Your brain is now seeing multiple versions of reality simultaneously, an effect known in the classified files as layer bleed. You are no longer locked to one timeline. You are floating across dozens, merging, choosing, overriding. That's why the organization needs to shut you down. Because you're not just a witness anymore. You're becoming a rewrite point. If you remember too much, you'll overwrite the simulation. Your phone vibrates violently. Screen glitched. Half red, half static. A new contact appears, her. You open it. One video file. 17 seconds long. A girl, your twin, standing in a white room, whispering, "They're sending them now. Don't believe anyone. Not even yourself." Then static. Then her face glitches. Turns into yours. Then into someone else's. Then black. You look up. Across the street, 3 men in black coats just stepped out of a parked car that wasn't there a second ago. Their movements are too smooth. Too symmetrical. Their faces too still. You've seen them before, in your dreams. The cleanup unit. The ones who appear when a subject becomes unstable. But now they're real. Because you're real. You run. Back down the stairwell. Through the service tunnels of the abandoned facility. The bracelet guides you. It blinks faster when you're close to something important. You reach a locked steel door. No handle. Just heat sensors. You touch the wall, and the glyphs flash again, this time burning into the metal. The door melts away. Inside, rows of memory drives, preserved bodies in stasis tanks, and something at the center, a machine shaped like a heart, rotating in mid-air, pumping light instead of blood. This is the original core. The first memory chamber. The place where the mirror protocol began. A console lights up. It recognizes your presence. Welcome, host 014B Phase 2, uplink ready. Final decision required, shut down or reveal. You freeze. Reveal what? A new window appears. It shows feeds, thousands of them. Faces. Lives. People laughing, working, sleeping, praying. Normal humans. But labeled underneath are things like simulated emotion, mimic memory, redirected instinct. These aren't people. These are data vessels. Versions of what people were before the mirror protocol spread. They are unaware. But you can see the pattern. Every single person on the list has a faint memory of you. A random dream. A déjà vu. A forgotten conversation. You were the seed planted across timelines. If you activate the reveal command, they'll remember. All of them. At once. But there's a cost. A warning pops up, reveal will collapse current structure. All enforcer units will engage. Host memory may fracture. Possibility of loop reboot, 76.8%. You're breathing hard now. A choice that decides the fate of millions, or at least, the illusion of them. But the screams in your head grow louder. She's calling. The twin. Trapped somewhere deeper. Not physically. In memory space. Lost between timelines. If you don't pull her out now, she'll become part of the code forever. You override the console. You force a backdoor. The glyphs swirl around your hands as if reacting to your decision. You bypass safety locks. You inject one final command: merge all threads. The core flashes white. You scream, feel your spine stretch like time itself is pulling you in half. You see flashes of your own death. Your own birth. Your twin reaching for you from inside a broken mirror. Then, silence. The room is gone. You're back in your house. Everything looks normal. Almost too normal. The photos on the wall are real this time. Not blank. They show a childhood you never lived, but now feel. Your parents. Alive. You hear laughter outside. Birds. Wind. Peace. You walk to the mirror. No glitch. Your reflection smiles. You don't. You whisper, "What changed?" And then your reflection responds, not your voice but hers, "You saved me." But not everything. You turn around. A file sits on your desk. Police letterhead. Subject: Evidence Box Recovery Report. It's dated today. It says, "Box found." Subject unknown. No fingerprints. DNA inconclusive. Case remains open. But you remember everything. They don't. You are free. But the world doesn't know you anymore. A knock at the door. You freeze. Because now comes the real question: was all this real, or was this your mind trying to fix a reality that broke long ago? You open the door. A child stands there, holding the same box. He hands it to you and says, "She said you'd know what to do next." You take the box from the child, your hands trembling even though your body feels calm. The moment your skin touches the lid, the world around you freezes. The wind. The sound of cars. Even your heartbeat. Frozen mid-beat, like the air itself is holding its breath. You look down. This isn't the same box. It's newer. Smoother. Lighter. But the name scratched into it? Still yours. This time, something's added underneath it in red: Phase 3, self-erase. You don't understand yet, but your instincts scream one word: inside. You step back into the house, lock the door, and sit with the box on the floor. It doesn't open with force. It opens on its own, like it's alive. Inside? No bracelet. No photo. Just a black folded paper and a silver coin that glows faint blue. You pick up the paper. One word on it: trust. On the back, a code you've never seen before: 4F7L9C axis 014. And below it, coordinates to a location that no longer exists, burned down 10 years ago. A facility no one talks about. A place wiped from the grid after a training accident. You stare at the coin. It's warm. Almost pulsing. The moment you touch it to the code, everything vanishes. You're not home anymore. You're somewhere cold. Metallic. Endless gray light floods a chamber you've never seen, but feel you've been in before. You're standing on a platform floating above water that isn't wet. Around you, reflections of you hover like ghosts, each one wearing different clothes, different wounds, different timelines. They look at you. One steps forward and speaks. But it's your voice. Welcome to the Axis room. You try to breathe, but nothing moves. The clone continues, this is the center point. The reset engine. Every time the box is opened, this room reboots. You're not the first. You won't be the last. Another version walks forward, whispering, do you want to know how many times you've been here? The walls flicker. Numbers appear. 47 resets. 47 versions of you destroyed or altered. This is the 48th attempt. And for the first time, you're awake during it. They show you. One by one. Past versions of your story. Some ended in fire. Others in death. One ended in you surrendering to the enforcers. Another ended in Mara's heart being shut down to save you. One version, you betrayed your twin to escape. And every time you made a choice, the system archived it. Stored it. Studied it. That's what Phase 3 is. They're not just watching. They're predicting. Using your past selves to map your current one. This box wasn't left behind. It was sent. They gave it to the child. Because now, the system is testing you again. The floor beneath you shifts. Now you're standing inside a room with red walls and one window that shows the world outside. It's burning. Riots. Sirens. Skies tearing open. Phase 3 isn't about remembering. It's about choosing who forgets. You feel the coin in your pocket pulsing faster. The reflections surround you now. Whispering all at once. The only way out is to let go of the identity they bound you to. You must erase yourself, to free everyone else. But if you erase yourself, you won't be able to bring her back. Your twin. She's out there. You saw her last. Alive. Waiting. Half merged. A screen opens in the wall. A live camera feed shows her, inside a sealed room, wires hooked into her spine, her bracelet cracked and bleeding light. If you erase yourself now, she stays trapped. If you don't, the loop continues. And the system survives. You're paralyzed between two disasters. But then you hear it. Her voice. From somewhere deep. Barely audible. Choose me, not the world. Your hands reach into the box again. There's one last item, a memory chip. Old tech. Encrypted. It pulses like a heart. You know what it is, it's the original identity core. Your pre-programmed DNA sequence. The thing the system used to build all 47 versions. If you shatter it, every backup of you dies with it. That's the only way to stop the resets. But it also means this version of you, the one holding this chip, will start disintegrating. Slowly. Not the body. The mind. You'll remember her. But she'll never know you. Not in this form. You'll fade, and she'll awaken free. You close your eyes. You crush the chip in your fist. The reflections vanish. The chamber collapses. Time warps. Your memory becomes a slideshow of flashes, running through forests that never existed, swimming in oceans under skies you can't name, hearing your own voice screaming in languages no one's ever spoken. And then, quiet. Then, her. You see her standing in a field, holding the cracked bracelet in her hand. She's smiling. Looking at something, no, someone. Not you. But the version of you that was allowed to live. A cleaner version. One that remembers enough to love, but not enough to break. She's safe. Free. And she has no idea what you gave up to get her there. But somewhere, deep in the code, a single line flashes. 014B, self-erase, successful. Twin host, fully merged. Mirror protocol, destroyed. Backup status, 0. Loop status, terminated. Subject status, forgotten. And that's the ending they'll never show. The world wakes up. And you are gone. But the echoes? They remain. And every time someone dreams of a face they can't remember, every time a child draws a symbol they were never taught, every time a stranger feels a fear that has no origin, that's you, reminding them, you were here. You chose the ending. You broke the system. And the box? It lies buried now. Waiting for the next one. You thought it was over.